Ba-da-da-da-ba-da-ba. GetScene.
I'll probably bring up a stigma a lot that when you work online, there's a lot of stigma of like get rich quick and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not.
It's just a chat and just hopefully spread the message of just, if you want to start a business, just jump in.
The thing with it is very much you can earn quickly in terms of if you get some momentum, but it's a stabilization that's difficult. If you're not running any social ads, you better believe that other people who are basically your competitors are.
The production value is well up here. Up here, right down there. Hey everyone, right, so we've got Gino from Eruptmedia today, and he's here to talk all about how to get more sales on social media. So if you're starting a new brand, starting a project during this COVID lockdown, he is the man to speak to, right? So Gino, do you want to introduce yourself and just give a little background, where you come from, what you do, and where you can help people?
No worries. So yes, I'm Gino, as David said, from Eruptmedia, and a bit about me is more, I kind of ventured into entrepreneurship business from university. So I did a lot of little projects in terms of doing my own blogs, trying to do my own app, and then just creating mini brands and working with other people who wanted to create brands. And that's what kind of led me into what I'm doing now, which is basically social media marketing for e-commerce brands. So e-commerce brands are online stores or just people selling things online that want to basically get them to buy online, and they don't want to rely on trade shows. They don't want to rely on foot traffic or just things like that. So that's kind of a bit about me in the way of what I do, bit of a background. I could delve into more of my early experiences if that's
yeah, man. Like we've got plenty of time, so delve into whatever you want.
Yeah, so it's more. So I did this whole blog in terms of really it started out with just a fitness, like student fitness, and did a personal training qualification to kind of just learn the ropes. And you know what? It was a bomb. I spent about 1.5 years with a mate of mine, and we just did a bit like Joe Wicks does fitness videos, but more so for students. So we tried to tailor it all to the students, and it was more just we wanted to do something, yes, to almost earn a bit of money because we were broke. We were students in the university, but it was just something fun to do with my flatmate, and we kind of just went down the route of creating videos, and then we kind of just thought, wow, we can actually try and actually make this into a proper business. Obviously it didn't work out like that because it never really does with the first thing you do. But then after that, we tried to do an app because of the whole craze of Uber, Airbnb. And we kind of just thought, wow, we want to create something like that. So we tried to do the Uber of fitness, where trying to get people who know about fitness, personal trainers or strength conditioning coaches, trying to connect them with people, just the general public. We did that as well towards the latter end of university. And I think that's where I truly learned the kind of the hard life in business, where you try to get people on your app, literally knocking on personal trainers' doors, them saying, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
The grind, the hustle.
Yeah. And I think that's when you kind of, because for me, I think initially you get, this is the thing, a lot of people, when they do start a business or whatever, they think, right, I'm doing it because I can earn a lot of money and it'll be easier than a job, basically. It'll be easier to go down this. But I think that's when it really hit me that it wasn't all fun and games, and people will basically tell you how it is if you're trying to sell something to them. So that's one thing I would just say. If you do try and start your own business, you're going to get a lot of rejection. And I get it a lot now, even though with what I do, I've worked with people already. I've got case studies. I'm working with people now, but I still get rejection in terms of people saying, I don't really want to go in terms of that route, or the rejection is still there. So I'm not sure if you're the same, David, in terms of still getting rejection, or maybe even yourself just getting rejected. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think rejection is a part of business, isn't it? It's like rejection, it's not just a whole, you create a big pitch and then they just say, no, it's more just about, I don't think that's appropriate for us, or we don't really want to go down that route, say we like, give some ideas out, or as what we've found with this COVID situation of just a rejection doesn't have to be a full out no. It can just be like, this isn't the right time for us. And at this very moment, we had a couple of projects coming in, but they've all literally just been put on pause or cancelled altogether, purely for the fact of, COVID. Our clients aren't getting money themselves, so they can't pay us. So in essence, the whole pipeline stops. So we're still working with them, like phoning them up every couple of days. How are you? Yeah, it's like nothing much has changed because we're just locked in, Groundhog Day and stuff. So I think that's the essence of like just treat your clients like you treat your friends, because that's who they are. And you're going to be working with your clients. You work with your colleagues more than you actually see your family. So you might as well get on with them. So I was going to say, from what you mentioned, being very honest, I thought that was pretty cool. Like the first thing that you said, like the first project that you got done, you said that it bombed. I thought that was like really honest of yourself. But I think that's a good thing, isn't it? Because you've learned what it does take. You said that you spent about 1.5 years on it.
It was 1.5 years of just literally, if in a business sense, because at the end of the day, yes, we want to create and work in stuff we want to do, but then obviously business, you have to be profitable for it to be a business or be a social enterprise. So in terms of that, I think for 1.5 years, we made about probably £3 and 1 pence in terms of actually like bringing money in. And that was just through ad revenue from Google AdSense, things like that. Probably people who watch this will know what Google AdSense is. It's where there's banners on your website, people click it and you get a small commission. But that was an experience to just to kind of learn more skills than probably make money. And I think that was probably important. I was studying engineering at the time, so I was obviously doing that, but learning about this kind of digital marketing world, learning about SEO, paid traffic, how to get someone to sign up to an email list, chatbots, things like that. So I kind of had a breadth of maybe just tasting different digital avenues that you can go down for business. So that was me in terms of, it was a bomb, but in a financial sense, but in the sense of learning different kind of skills, you could say it was a success in that regard. But it was a bomb as a business, basically. That's what I mean by that.
And look, so like if it was a bomb as a business, then like say you used to do it all again, what would you change?
I think if I was, that's quite good, because then I've played with this idea with the person I did it with in university, and what we would have done right from the off was we wouldn't have produced so much content initially and just produced loads of content, just put things out there all the time. I think what we would have started initially was, if it was the actual blog, I think we would have just put up a landing page first off, and just to gauge the interest in terms of whether people would actually sign up to this, whether people would generally be like a pre-launch. We would have, instead of creating so much, just put a website out there, create tons of content, tons of this. Yes, you can learn, it takes time, but I think we would have just put up a landing page, see the interest of if students generally wanted to learn about this, what exactly they wanted to learn. So we could tailor it to that. And we probably would have been, if I'm thinking in business sense, we would have been quicker in actually seeing if we can make a product and things like that, instead of just wholeheartedly creating content. And that's probably a bit of a problem a lot of people have, where it's always about creating content. And I was like that as well, just always. But then I kind of realized, well, if you actually do this as a business, there needs to be a revenue model. There needs to be a financial kind of back end.
A 3-month, a 6-month plan kind of thing.
You need to have a certain system towards getting these people. Yes, they're viewing your content. That's the awareness part. But where's your product? Where's your service? If you actually want this to be a business, if this is just a hobby, then that's all well and good. But if you want to take it to a business level, you have to kind of have the content, getting people into your world. And then I don't want to make this sound like a salesman pitch, but you have to have ways of, once they're in your world, how to actually sell them a product they need, or a product they need. You can't just always give content all the time and expecting to make a lot of money, unless you're big YouTuber with 1 million followers. That's
Yeah,
different.
and then you can kind of just assume some money's going to come in from somewhere, from advertising and whatever. So when you say like your old business that you'd start by doing a landing page and gauge interest, how would you get the message out? Because obviously websites now, you need traffic coming to them. You need people to see what you're doing. Social media is a perfect thing for this. But then was social media still as big? So when you're saying like you started this, how many years ago was it? Was it about 3 years ago?
Probably 2015.
Okay, so
2006, 15, 16. But this was literally not, it wasn't a sense of, oh, let me just do it. I think this is going to be big. I think it was a sense of, let me actually try this and it'll be cool. I think it's more, I thought it would be cool to have a project. And when you do engineering, you kind of think in the sense of project wise, all this kind of aspect, let me build something, basically. So I wanted to do this because I used to play football in my youth. Fitness was a thing. People in university would ask me personally in terms of, right, how do I keep fit? What can I do? I was doing little sessions in the park, and that's what made me think, right, let me actually put this online. And that's how it started with everything. But landing page, traffic-wise, to go back to the question is, the way I would actually drive traffic is, I think at the time, I would have done it very much organically. What I mean by organic is, yes, posting on social media, utilizing certain hashtags, utilizing certain methods to grow on these social platforms. I think nowadays, what they've done, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all these kind of social platforms, they've kind of been a bit cheeky and they've reduced people's organic reach. What that means is that when you post something, let's say if you have 100 people on the page, probably about 2-3 people will see it, and then they'll gauge the interest of those people. And if it's good, they might spread it out a bit more. And if that's good, spread it out a bit more. So that's where you'll notice you will post a lot, but then you won't really see as much engagement as probably 3-4 years ago. So if I was to do it now, I wouldn't say to do this, but I would probably put a bit of student loan to like a bit of an ad budget and just gauge the actual proper interest that people are finding in the page, signing up to emails, and then having an email autoresponder to follow up with emails, even a chatbot where Facebook Messenger have a chatbot feature, getting them in there, sending them messages in there. Just, I would have seen it more as a sense of not just producing content, but how can I put them down this whole marketing funnel, if you want to say it like that.
No, that's brilliant. So I think like you've hit the nail on the head where you're saying like, they've changed the whole model of the organic advertising, which I've heard this quite a lot because I've been doing a lot of like SEO, so search engine optimization, looking into that, but also looking into what would be the best platforms for, say, like our type of work. So it's very visual, rendering, it's also interactive and immersive, but it all just comes back to videos. And with Facebook, you don't just do a single image. You always want something moving because that gets the attention of people. But I think, as what you said, is like over the last couple of years, there has been, a clamping down on the organic kind of spread of it all.
Yeah, it's a shame they've done that, because then it used to be much easier to grow a page or grow Instagram pages where you would get people generally. You can still do it now. I think there's still a possibility, but it's much.
You need to put a lot more effort into it, don't you?
Let's just say that. Yeah.
Or just pay loads of advertising.
You could grow. Yeah. There's that kind of route. You have to either create quality, but real quality in terms of it would generally catch the eye of someone there and then, and they'll follow you because of that. It used to be a sense of you could create good pieces of content with the right hashtags, and it will land on an explore page of social, of let's just say Instagram, and people literally gain traction and you'll get tons of followers that way. It's changed now where it's not so much about that, where they want to push you into advertising. And that's kind of, in a way, why I've gone down this route, because to be honest with everyone here, initially when I was doing the organic stuff for clients where I was managing social pages, initially it was fine, but I was having a conflict where we weren't getting the kind of building brand wise, we weren't kind of growing as much as I thought we should. And there's like a conflict there where I thought they're paying me and I feel like I'm not providing a good enough service, or we're not providing, because I have a small team with me now. So that's why I transitioned more into paid, because you can quantify in terms of, right, they've given me that much, you pay me this much, look how much we brought you. And it's much more, it is more stressful to actually do it, but at the end of the month you feel more in tune with yourself, that you feel more kind of justified, or you feel like what I'm doing is actually
worth it for the client.
Worth it. That's it. It's worth it for the client, instead of maybe saying, right, we're kind of posting, we're doing this, we're doing that. And I just felt more, like it was worth for the client, and they know, because it's there. It shows. So
definitely. I think that's very good, and I think it's very honest of you by saying, like, you know, you went through this little time and you didn't really think that it was worth it for the client, so you've more transitioned into, like, right, if you give me the tools, I will get you the work. And I think that's very very honest and brilliant. So often you get, like, people just saying, like, oh no, like, everything's perfect, everything's 100%. I don't really like that from my sense of view. You know, like, some things go a little bit wrong. It's business, things do go wrong. But then again, like, you know, I both love and hate the term fail fast.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, fail fast. Yeah, if you're not going down the right direction, pivot, move on to something else. But if it's also the case of, if you don't plan, then you're just wasting time. So it's like double-edged sword, that expression. But I think from what you're doing is, like, you know, you're going out there and you're just being honest with clients. And I think that is the main thing, isn't it? Just be honest.
It's definitely that. It's definitely that, where I think initially it was, if we're strictly being as transparent as possible, it is initially about bringing in money, especially when you finish. This is a lot of people who finish university or stuff. If you're not going to go down maybe graduate route, if you want to try and do this, you start to realize, like, I need to bring money in. I need to generally bring something in, or I'm going to struggle, which is strange, because then you have grants or student loans, you're in like this bubble. So initially it is very much thinking, right, I need to get, and you almost get into this sense of, you want it's hard to say now, because maybe I'm in a slightly different position now, but you want the money. And then the client, the service to the client almost comes second, which is bad to say, but when you're just starting out, you need to pay your bills, you need to do this, you need to do that. But then what kind of happens down the line is, you really start to think, this is when you have a few clients and you start to realize, when you're working with someone, right, how am I actually going to make this a stable business? The best way to do that is to satisfy the client so much that he probably will refer you, he'll probably stay with you for the long term. And you can only do that if you
can afford it. Basically.
You can only do that if they can afford to pay you, but also in the sense of, if they know what you're bringing to them is worth it to them. So that's at the end of the day, if you're doing a service and it's not worth it to them, they're going to cut you off, whether financially or on a branding side. So I kind of learned that on my way. And don't get me wrong, I still struggle where I would like to work with someone, but even now I'm thinking, can I actually, this whole concept of good fit, can I actually provide it? They do have a budget towards help, but then I'm thinking, if I take them on, I'm going to get really stressed, because I'm feeling, whoa, can we actually do this? It's going to affect the clients I already have. So there's a bit of give and take. It's not always just take everyone who wants your service. You got to see whether they are qualified, if that makes sense, kind of qualified for your service.
I think that's the key thing. And what I like to chat with people about is, if you got offered £1 million project, would you take £1 million project? So say if someone said to me, here's £1 million, make me 10 million. But it has to be a guarantee. It has to be a guarantee. Would you take that?
Different. No, I wouldn't take that, because then there's, especially in this digital world, no matter what people tell you, they can't just, basically, if people guarantee you that if you give me 10 grand, I'm going to give you 100. I would view that as very sketchy. Basically, you can't guarantee that. Otherwise, every single person would go to that person. Every single person would go with them. Whereas no one can truly guarantee, if there was, then that person would probably be a trillionaire, because then he could guarantee, give me this. And there's that element
like
of
Midas with the golden touch. It doesn't
Yeah.
really exist.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
more about the point of like £1 million may seem, oh, this is amazing, £1 million. I couldn't think of anything more stressful. It'll be great if it could eventually build up, like especially my business skills, running a company. But if I've got £1 million, then I'd most probably have 25 staff. No, like or 20 staff, depending on sales, developers, etc. Managing all that, then you need a management team. So although like you might have a couple of developers, you might get one more, but then you need a manager to manage the developers. So it's like, with more money just becomes so much more responsibility and less agile. That's
Exactly.
what I found. Yeah. So you need to kind of be agile. And I suppose like in your world, being like social media, funneling, future clients to become paid clients for your clients, lots of clients in that sentence. But it makes sense that social media is constantly changing. And from what you said, like Facebook and Instagram is being less organic.
Yeah.
What other platforms would you say are coming up? So you've obviously got like
you have
so
the
many
typical,
TikTok and whatever.
Yeah, you have that one, and it's kind of a good transition where I'll probably talk less about my background and probably just what I do. I'm probably more into like the actual service of probably more that now in terms of who I do it with. We're a very small team. We're not a massive agency or consultancy, nothing like that, but probably good to kind of go into that. So the actual social platform, it's obvious, it's TikTok. And to be fair, TikTok is very different in terms of the other social media. The reason that is, and I don't, to be transparent, I don't work on TikTok for clients because for me it's still early, and to have someone, we haven't really delved too deep into TikTok. We're still, the main two platforms we utilize is Facebook and Instagram because we know it works, we know how to do it, we know clients already know that it works. So when they come to us, it's very streamlined because if they're qualified, we know we can basically make them more money at the end of the day.
Makes sense. Yeah.
The TikTok is quite different because a lot of these social platforms are run by AI showing you certain types of content, but TikTok is one of these first platforms. Yes, you follow people, but how it's based is if you see a video, they're going to attribute it to another video you might like, and then again and again and again. And you can see it with a lot of people nowadays. You could spend 20, 30, 40 minutes on TikTok just because the whole AI around TikTok is just to show you what you want to see. Whereas on Facebook and Instagram, yes, they show you ads, they show you your friends' content, and they have that element of, oh, they've clicked this, so they might be interested in this in the next kind of scroll. But TikTok is literally all encompassing. If you like this piece of content, the next one you're going to see is going to be more like that piece of content that you saw. So
it makes
that's
sense.
how it's different, and they're kind of pushing it that way. And it's probably one of the reasons why it's grown so big. It'll be interesting to see how they incorporate. It's still really early in terms of business adoption. That's what I'm seeing, and I am keeping an eye looking into how we can utilize that. But it's still early with TikTok. There's obviously Snapchat, there's obviously Pinterest for a lot of people I come across, which is e-commerce brands. They do look into Pinterest just because it's very visual, especially if you're a female brand or your main target audience is females.
Okay.
It's very much a platform that can be utilized, and it's not like Facebook, Instagram, or even YouTube or Google, but it's very much there where it's still a very viable platform to use.
It's like it's been there for a while, and it's just there. It's like, the cousin at the party. It's like, they'll always be at the party, but they won't be like screaming and shouting and whatever. So quite a weird analogy.
It's weird, but it makes a lot of sense, and it is there as a platform to be utilized. But I don't know. For me, initially I did very broad. So what I've kind of done myself is gone very broad in terms of managing Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, Instagram. I'm kind of just gone down to Facebook and Instagram because
they get results.
And that's kind of at the end of the day what I've kind of boiled it down. And I could dive into the kind of service on my end if maybe that'll be helpful for everyone in terms of what I do.
Jump into it.
So really, what for an e-commerce brand, what the main free channels that people utilize a lot of the times in terms of getting customers, if you're an online store, are Google. So Google and YouTube, they're the, I don't want to say they're the same, but they're owned by the same company.
Yeah.
So the advertisement platform are the same for Google and YouTube. Then you have another one, which is influencer marketing. So you'll hear a lot of rage of paying an influencer to post on your social platforms or for your brand. And then that is less, you can track, but it's more difficult because on Google and YouTube, you can literally track how much you're spending, how much you're bringing.
Yeah.
Whereas the influencer one is very much more, it's like a mid-ground between organic and paid, basically. And then you have,
I was going to say, like, when you see like some of the prices that these influencers get paid when it comes out, it's like, here's 10 grand, just do us a favor and eat a Mars bar.
Yeah,
so that's what I mean. Hey, here's 10 grand, take it away. But then people see right through it, don't they? When it's a perfectly placed, it's like when you watch the Transformers films and there's like all this destruction, but then there's a perfect Pepsi vending machine that hasn't been touched, just on the ground, and it's like it just doesn't sit well. And I think people are starting to see is like, hang on, this person that I really liked, kind of grew up with their brand, they're selling out. And I think it's very hard, I suppose, if someone offers you a 10 grand check, not to take that 10 grand, but you got to keep thinking, it's like, do we take that 10 grand and pump it back into the content, or do we just keep going with the content and just ignore selling out in a very weird craze, isn't it? So
that's the thing with, I don't know, with myself, it does work for a lot of brands, but there is a lot of times where I've done it myself, where I've done influencer marketing for brands, and it is a lot of back and forth. And when you do if you do pay an influencer to put that out there for you, I've had it sometimes where literally we spent $200, we got nothing in return. And yes, you could say that was maybe the ad or maybe it was the audience, but I just don't like that element of there's less control. Yeah, there's less control when you do the influencer marketing, whereas I feel, at least on Facebook and Instagram, there's much more of that element. For one, it's cheaper than Google in terms of the pay-per-click. That's why I've kind of geared towards this. Google, to actually get people on your site and to pay for that click, if you look across the board, it's cheaper on Facebook and Instagram, the kind of similar metrics. But anyway, that's just a bit of a side point.
Yeah.
So the Facebook and Instagram element, you can track. So if I spend that 200, then we can see, right, yes, maybe we got $100 worth of sales, but then you can see where people drop off. Did they drop off at the add to cart, the initiate checkout? You can see where they drop off. Where I'm not sure you can do that with influencer. If you can and they've implemented something, then by all means, I want to know about it. But so far, I haven't seen too much, and that's why I've kind of geared towards this, because it just
it shows you value for money for your. You can just give them a PDF and just say, right, here's your ROI. It's 4x. Thanks very much. Let's do it again next month.
Yeah, essentially. So the way I kind of structure it, if you want me to go into that, I'd be happy just going how I structure things in terms of.
Do it, man. Yeah.
So really, I'll almost go to the beginning of. Initially, I got a lot of clients through Upwork, the kind of platform, the biggest freelance platform. And I kind of started off, as a freelancer. I think now I've got to the point where I do work with 2 other people. I don't want to say they're under me, but because I still look at the ads, if I'm honest. And but we're like a mini team, if that makes sense. So what we kind of do now is, we run small ads in terms of actually getting clients to us. So we run ads in terms of to e-commerce brands, how they do in with their advertisement. And there's also that sense of I utilize a bit of LinkedIn to kind of get people interested. So that's how I kind of get people interested into what I do. Then I usually put them in terms of a call. We have a call to see whether we can generally work together. A lot of the times they might say yes. A lot of the times they might say no. It's just the name of the game of how it works. But then once I get to the service part, you onboard them, and I have like a onboarding system where you kind of just do videos showing them what they need to do for us to get started. So They need to fill out this survey. They need to give us access to their Facebook Business Manager. They need to actually basically give us certain images, videos, and that just makes it much more streamlined for clients. And it's a good way to start the relationship, just because they can think, all right, he's taken the time, he hasn't just signed me up, and he's thinking, right, I need this, I need that, I need this.
Yeah, it's kind of being reactive. It's like, right, get me all of these jobs and I will do the work for you. And that's what I've found. Like, clients need to be involved, and clients want to be involved. That's the thing, especially when like in the smaller companies, they want to be involved because they want to feel ownership of the thing that you're doing for them. Like if it's creating a piece of software or creating some logos, etc., from brands, they want to be involved. And that's what I found is like, just let the clients be as involved or as not involved as they want to. It makes sense, doesn't it? So
people are different at the end of the day, and that's what I found. I don't want this to sound quite bad, but I did have clients where it was a lot of micromanaging, where they would. I had to almost. There was a lot of people contacting me on the Saturday and the Sunday. Also, I believe that you do need a kind of break as well from this, otherwise you go insane. So, in the onboarding system that I create, you put the kind of hours that you would typically be available. Saturday and Sunday, I say emergencies. And what I found is since I've done that, people do respect that, right? Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. They're not really on. And only if things are going catastrophically bad, then I will respond. But if it's okay, they'll leave until Monday, which is.
Well, you've got to have a life, don't you? So they've got a life, you've got to have a life. And I think that's the key thing for a lot of clients, and what a lot of clients or potential clients don't understand is like, although you're 100% into your business, it's like, let us be 100% into ours, but also we need a break. We want to see family. We want to see friends. Let us take some time off you in the week so you can see your family and friends a lot more. And I think that's the golden thing. It's like, if you used to never do a job again, what would you be doing? Spending it with family and friends, doing the things that you really want to do. And I think that's where outsourcing works very well. It's like, just let people take care of the jobs, but then it's the experience to back everyone up. So like from your funneling then, like, so you onboard your clients, what's next?
And then what's next is the service. There's one point I want to add on to this will help a lot of people who are maybe want to do freelancing, maybe want to go down giving digital services. I'll go on to the service. I just want to add this in because I think it will help a lot, is make sure that when you're actually speaking to a client, I know you want money initially, but nowadays, I actually don't have that problem of people maybe messaging me on Saturday and Sunday, because I actually suss it out during the calls we have. So I don't just take them on. If I can see that they're going to be someone who's very much going to be contacting me on a Saturday or Sunday, or very much someone who's basically, I try to work with very casual people. I try to work with people who are friendly, basically, because then I feel that relationship will build from there. Whereas initially, I didn't mind who I worked with because it would bring money in. Whereas now I'm very much thinking, right, this person is genuinely a nice person, and they know that I'm going to have a life outside of this. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing. But then I just wanted to put that there, because then a lot of people who do start this will just get clients and hate it because of that.
Yeah. So I know, like when I first started out and got some outsourced work, it's like the client, the boss, like the big boss, he'd call me like 10 o'clock at night asking questions on how to code something up inside of Unreal, because he was looking at it and like, how would I do this? How would I do that? And it's like, in the end, I had to just walk away from a project. And it was good money, but it's just like, I can't be called at 10 o'clock every night. It's like, if you want to call me, let's do it in the daytime. Let's book in a meeting. And then it wouldn't be. It's just like, and then when I would get on the call with him, he'd be like, oh, I've tried to call you like 10 times yesterday. Like, where was you? They're being quite, not aggressive, but just straight to the point. So it's like, it's Sunday. It's like, it's a day off. I don't want to like answer my work phone. It's like, if it's emergencies, yes. But when the boy who cried wolf, just to ask a couple of questions, is like, that's kind of, that should be billable hours. It wasn't at the time, but that's what I've learned. And like, if you get clients like that, it's like, you're going to be spending more time. It's like, you want to be helpful, but help your clients if it helps you, or if it doesn't help you, if it kind of makes you into a bad position, just walk away. Like spend your
Yeah.
efforts and time on someone else, because money's great, but we kind of live in a country where we've always got support from someone else, if that makes sense. And that's always my fallback. So I've said it in a couple of videos, is like, we do live in a country, and if you've got friends and family, we kind of live in a culture where people will help each other out. It's like, right, you know, if I lose my house tomorrow, I know I've got a bed to sleep in with friends and family. I've got a lot of beds and I can just jump around. So losing a house to me, although completely depressing idea, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Yeah, we live in the UK where there's you can see it with the Captain Tom. I think that's been massive in the news, and it's literally 32 million.
Is that what it's up to now?
I think so. And that was, you would think in a different country, like I come from South American background and I hear about what's happening there. Let's just say that, yeah, we criticize this country and it is bad here. And I don't want to go into a political thing because I'm not, but it will be worse in countries in South America just because of how they're structured as a society. So that's just a bit of a side point. And one of the last things I am going to mention in terms of, it is also kind of our responsibility as service providers to let them know that Saturday and Sunday we don't work, or Saturday and Sunday, because then if we don't, they'll probably just assume that we do, because that's what I found, that they assume that we do work on those days, or we do work 24/7 all day, every day, which is not realistic. Basically.
No. So I think with some people, if you just remind them, it's like, yeah, I'll pick this up. I'm taking half a day off, or, you know, let's book in a meeting. And if you just be honest with them like that, people are just like, okay, then I know where I stand. And I think that's that idea of like, if you push the way your clients stand with you, to be a lot more receptive, because you're giving them bounds. They're not, you know, going off in their head and just going, oh, I should have called them today, should have called them tomorrow. Yeah. It's like, you know when to call them. So yeah, I think it's just stick to your guns, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of having a bit of pride and knowing what you will, almost being being a business person, basically standing your ground and say, this is how I can run it. We can work together, but understand that you have boundaries. This is how I work. So, and I feel there's mutual respect there. But I'll go on to the service now.
So we keep going off on tangents, but this is what I like, because this is getting into like the nitty gritty and just seeing what you are and who I am and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, go on to the services and stuff. So
I'm not going to go too much in terms, because I could literally spend an hour, and I have gone an hour with someone just talking about this, even about a week ago. But really, all it is so Facebook and Instagram, the advertisement. So if you're a new store, so this is someone, let's just go back to cakes. If someone's starting a cake business, basically, so they want to sell their cakes online. So really, what I would suggest initially is you kind of view the first month as testing. You want to test in terms of the audience you're showing these ads to. You want to test the copy. What I mean by copy is, in the ads, you'll see the kind of words.
The text and stuff and how it reads and stuff. So yeah, if you're looking to do any of this stuff, get a copywriter. A copywriter isn't legal or whatever. It's someone who takes your words, your understanding, and makes it sound so much better. That's rule number one, is like, if you're just sitting there doing your own text, if you're great at it yourself, amazing. If you've done English courses, that's great. Get someone to spell check your work. That was the worst thing that I did. I'm completely 100% like very dyslexic. I get someone else to do my copy now. It's so much better. So yeah,
it's true. Being from, I think both of us come from engineering backgrounds anyway, so we'll be illiterate as it is. So
equations, that's fine, but text, English, I am English. I don't know how to spell it. So, So
but that makes sense. So I almost just want to gear it towards someone who's new, maybe getting this, where the one thing they have to understand is, if you're a new store, and the main thing really with all this Facebook and Instagram is, on your store website, you usually have something called a pixel, like Facebook pixel. Very easy to install if you
Facebook. What, sorry, dude? What was that?
A pixel is it's a piece of code basically, but you don't need to manually. If you work with Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, all these kind of different platforms, you don't need to know the code. You literally just insert what Facebook give you, you copy and paste, and then it's there.
And then embed code.
Yeah. So that's what happens in terms of that. The reason that's super important is because the first month, when you're testing the audience that resonates, testing the kind of images, videos, the copy, the reason you're doing that is to collect data on that pixel. Because the name of the game really is when that pixel is actually, they use a term called seasoned, where so when that pixel has a lot of data, that's when you can utilize something called retargeting ads. These ads are when people have landed on a product page, have landed on the ad of buying your products, you can retarget them with a specific ads for that particular stage. So I usually use, maybe 10% off. You forgot something. Last chance to get your discount, or last chance to get your exclusive discount, or the cart will be abandoned. Things like that. And usually what you find is, because I'm doing it almost day to day, I kind of think it's so obvious now, but then people are people, they're not in this industry, they work in law, they work in, I don't know, they're a nurse, so they don't really know this is happening, but they're basically getting tracked their journey through that store.
Yeah.
Then once, what I kind of found is with those retargeting ads, you can see returns of say like 6, 7, 8 times your investment into that particular advertisement. So to make it very simple, you almost want to drive traffic to the store, collect that data, and then you actually kind of retarget them. That's where you see a lot of wins. The third kind of element I bring into it is, with all that traffic you're driving to the store, you'll find that some of these ads will actually be profitable just from driving, because you've hit the right pool of people. Basically. And what typically I end up doing there is scaling these ads. What I just mean by scaling is you put more budget into these actual campaigns. So you're spending more to get more out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, this is the thing, you can almost go into a serious rabbit hole with all this, with what, we could literally be on here for an hour and a half. And I'm not just saying that to say it, because I could literally go into the depths of how you find an audience in terms of that resonates, what you actually do, the logistics of actually, when you're scaling a campaign, you actually duplicate it, you put into another. There's these small logistics that really, that's why people pay myself and my small team to do. So,
as I say, pay the experts to just do what they do best, and it makes sense. Just outsource it. Like, although like you hear the term outsourcing, everyone thinks that's very businessy. But if you're starting a business or if you want work being done, it's like if you're getting a gardener, you're outsourcing in that work to a gardener because your house is your business, isn't it? So outsourcing, I hate that. I kind of hate the term outsourcing because people instantly think, oh, that's going to cost loads of money. It's not. It's like when you go to Subway, you're outsourcing making a sandwich.
Exactly. That's the thing. There's a different mindset to it. But then there's one little element that I do want to bring in terms of, because that's the ad side. One thing that I realized quite a few months back is, with Facebook, really you're driving traffic, and your whole goal really with it is to drive traffic to the store for it to convert. But if what you're sending it to, which is the website, the store, is, I don't want to say trash, but is not high converting.
Trash.
Then, I don't want to say that because that sounds kind of harsh to say. But if it's not high converting, the website itself. So what we typically do, so myself, is yes, we do the ads, but we do almost like a sense of constant consultation in terms of how to increase the conversion rate of the website. So there's a few ways you can go about this. Obviously, the simple ones is actually making your images optimized. You can use, there's actual, websites out there that can do it for you.
Yeah.
And I think it's Google Optimize, or I'm not quite sure. I need to really kind of go into that. But the other avenue that with your website, and one thing people could literally do now if they own an e-commerce brand, is to increase their average order value. What I mean by that is putting upsells. So when someone's on an actual when someone's going to buy a cake, for instance, or buy a cupcake, maybe you can say, well, get an extra cupcake for a slightly reduced, or get a bundle of cupcakes at the checkout. Because what you find is that a lot of people, when they're at that stage, they will likely, they've already gone through that whole process of seeing the ad, going through your website, coming again. So once they're at that stage, that little bump, yes, you'll get a slight decrease in conversion rate, but it would counteract with the amount of people that would just say, I'll get the bundle.
Yeah.
I'll just get it. Yeah, my family will like this. So that is one thing that, yes, the whole ad side is, it's not as complicated. I don't want to make it sound too complicated here, but the website is something you could implement straight away. If you're an e-commerce brand, just incorporating upsells, incorporating cross-sells.
Yeah.
That's something you can do today to, well, make
to
more
gain
money.
more traffic. To make money. So with like all the upsells and stuff, and like with the websites, so you don't take care of any of the website stuff, do you? Like any of the design and brands, but
no,
you advise on how to upsell and all that stuff.
So what I kind of do is more, yes, what we take care of, what I kind of take care of, and I did initially as well, it was just me, where the ads would be solely our responsibility, the campaigns actually running that. The consultation side of things is, because to be honest with you, I could do a bit of background in web design just because of I did it while I was in university. But if I do that and I do that, it's almost like I would have 1 or 2 clients and that would be me tapped out.
Yeah.
But in terms of that, what I kind of found is a lot of brands I work with are on Shopify or on WooCommerce. And a lot of the time, these platforms, you can literally just install apps or plugins that will do these for you. Like on Shopify, there's something called a Zipify one-click upsell that will literally just, when you install that app, I think it's a paid app though, in terms of you have to pay a monthly subscription. But once you install it, if someone clicks that they want to check out, it literally pops up and you add something and it's one click. You can add something with one click, which decreases the friction with someone buying extra products. And that literally can increase your revenue in the store. Right. I've seen it where it can literally just double the amount of revenue you bring just because of how easy it is.
It's just install a plugin. Like if you're any WordPress developers out there, it'll just be a plugin. So we've used WooCommerce on our AR platform, and it is just as simple. It might be 250 quid or dollars over the year, but if that upsells any of your assets, you could gain that back within a month, 2 months. And if it doesn't after the end of the year, then it's only 250 quid. It may seem like a lot, especially as like someone making cakes in the kitchen and selling them. It will be a lot. So maybe test how things are going. But if you want to upsell, if you want to scale it up, you do need these plugins. And these are all made to be as simple, aren't they? So
they're made. They used to be quite difficult. I think drawing back to when, I think you'll probably, now that you've kind of looked into WooCommerce yourself, WordPress, when you're in school and you're doing the coding and you're thinking,
this is the IT,
and you're thinking, it's taken quite a while to do, but then you realize that there's literally platforms that are built like templates to do this for you, and it's literally just, sometimes it's honestly just drag and drop, which is amazing to think that 10 years ago when I was doing IT, you literally had to code it out. So that's why you can do a lot more. Sorry.
I was going to say, like that code and out, like when I first started, like, I can develop this website by myself if it's just a basic couple of pages, just use HTML, CSS, job done. But then it's like, I've just wasted so much time. Like this is going back a good couple of years. And I was always very afraid to use, tools because, I'm a hardcore programmer, where now it's like, I just use the tools that are out there, basically WooCommerce, like WordPress, and then even now we're looking into like Webflow, which is supposed to be like the competitor to WordPress. It's
really,
it's getting there, but I don't think it's, WordPress has been around for years, and it's kind of, it's basically 70% of the internet. It's going to stay. WordPress is king at the moment. But like Webflow is definitely something to look into, especially if you're making websites for clients and those clients want to change the content, maybe not the style of stuff. So you don't need to, fix everything up. So wrap some things round. But anyway, we get off topic.
No, that's good. I've heard of Webflow, but very briefly, but you obviously know much more. So it's good to see.
I was going to say,
WordPress.
It might be a way of just doing a video and like, we can just compare notes on each one of these, but it's just a different tool in your bag, isn't it? It's like a client would want a website. Okay, let's not worry about the back end. Let's just add a plugin. Let's just get a zipper file, job done. Because like us as programmers, there's technology out there. we just glue it all together. Same with advertising. Like everyone can do this at home. Everyone can learn.
Exactly. Everyone can learn it.
Yeah. But does everyone want to spend the time learning it? Like me, I've spent the last, how many years? From my degree to PhD to business to everything. Yeah, the last kind of 13 years programming. So that's a lot of years programming.
Wow.
Yeah, 13. And then going on to PhD, senior lecturers at a university. That's a lot. And especially like with my team, we're building up. I think we've got like a combined total of about 35 years worth of programming. That's a lot of programming years. And this is where I think clients don't really see. It's like, the whole Picasso thing, like it might take Picasso 10 seconds to do a brilliant drawing. And it's like, people just say, how much is that? Oh, millions of dollars. Oh, it would be now. It's like, but it only took 10 seconds. Yeah, but it also took 10 years of development behind it, or 40 years worth of development. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. How long have you been doing
this digital monk? So that's quite funny you bring that up, because I wasn't going to speak about this at all because I didn't think it would get brought up, but it's good that you've actually brought it. The whole aspect of, yes, people can do it themselves. And it's true. People can learn programming. People can learn ads. People can learn all this digital marketing. Just a bit of background on myself. So it's been probably 5 years of really diving deep. I was doing engineering, so I started 2015, so it's 2020 now. So it's been 5 years of actually just in this whole digital realm of digital marketing, SEO. But probably over the last 2 years is when I've really honed in to Facebook and Instagram. I'm really just trying to really understand how we can squeeze as much out of the platform. But the thing, you reminded me of a call I had. So one thing I've done with COVID-19, because a lot of people, and I'll probably go on to COVID-19 very soon, but I've had to diversify, because a lot of businesses I work with, some of them have their warehouses closed. Some of them, if they can't ship the products, they can't ship the products. So you can't actually work together because they can't sell. So what I've started to do is more flexible solutions, where I offer an hour consultation in terms of troubleshooting, I call it, like ads troubleshooting. And what I actually had someone, I think it was Tuesday or literally a couple of days back, where we had the call. He was running the ads. He was spending in terms of 4,000 or 5,000 a month, and he was getting a very good return. But his whole problem is he's been doing it for longer than me. But his whole thing is he's always stuck at that point of literally he only spends a maximum of 4,000 or 5,000, which is a lot. But he wants to get to that stage where he's spending more and
make more.
Still, but still maintaining the return he's getting, which was about 3x return.
Oh wow!
And his whole mindset is very much, it's an emotional thing. So that's what I want to bring it down to. Yes, people can learn it, but it's also the emotional side of thing of being able to. I think it's more in terms of probably ads wise, or terms of this, where you're doing it, and that whole emotional side of having almost like a trader, cutting your losses, increasing these ads. And that's what he struggled with a lot, that he was stuck at some point, and every month he would just kind of do that. And he knew it worked for him, but he had this barrier of, if I scale it up, will I lose money? And that's where we kind of spoke about what he could do in terms of predictably scaling his revenue, or how to actually structure it to scale it without worrying that my whole business is going to collapse, because he relies heavily on Facebook and Instagram for his revenue. And he's a man with 2 kids, just finishing off his mortgage. So you don't want to take that risk, but he wants to have structures in place where he can earn more.
He wants to
so
scale,
that's what I mean,
doesn't he? Yeah, he wants to build his building. So
he wants to actually bring in more revenue, bring in scaling. So bringing it back to the point of, yes, people can learn it, and there's people that probably have been doing it for years and years, but they reach a certain point, and other people probably, I don't want to say go beyond that point, but other people have gone probably deeper into the actual service itself and understand the nuances, what it is. and then that's how they can help, because I generally like to work with people who understand the basics of Facebook and Instagram, because then I can really go deep with them and really kind of outline the specifics of what will actually generally help them.
Yeah.
So that is something I want to just bring up, because yes, you can learn it, but then a lot of the times you're paying us to take it off your hands, yes.
Yeah.
But also for that almost nuanced experience that someone has in that field.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, like, you need, like, if you're outsourcing anything, I would always say to people, it's like, you need to understand what exactly are you outsourcing, but like, let someone else do it better. So if you're ever to hire staff, I know you've got your team, but if you're a bigger company, if you was to hire staff, you need to know their job around about 70%. You need to know how to do their job 70% and let them do the extra 30, because you want to know whether they're doing it right or wrong, don't you? So you should always research some stuff, but you also want to just let them do what they want and let them kind of be the good employer of that they are. If they're not, then just say, okay, it's not working out, see you later. Because that's what we've done in the past with a few outsourcing companies. Like, I know my programming, what I'm trying to outsource is time. So if I outsource programming, I'll take this programming work. I know I will check all the codes because that's who I am. But I know when they do it wrong. So it's like, okay, this is completely wrong. This isn't to the brief. It hasn't gone right. Let's just step away from each other. Still stay friends, but professionally, we can't work together, because everyone needs to know that underlying kind of skill that you are outsourcing. So yeah, sorry, I kind of jumped in there, went off on a bit of a tangent, but yeah.
That makes sense, because then in the outsourcing wise, you kind of, this is where you probably have much more experience than me. Whereas, yes, I have experience in the service, and actually, it's a small business. This what I'm doing. I'm not at that stage, and I don't want it to sound like I'm at that stage where I have like a £1 million business, or I have like literally 10 employees, because I don't. And that's what I feel. I've got quite a way of developing myself in turning what I do now, where literally it's myself and 2 other people.
Yeah.
And we are slowly solidifying the service we offer in terms of being very confident when we do take on someone that we can smash out the park for them. But it's now getting to, how do I take that and really like scale it to a proper business? And I haven't done it, so I can't really say from experience how to do that, because I'm at this stage of
but I think that's the thing, like, I want to get across on like this little web video series, is the fact is, like, you just got to jump in and try it. Your previous work, as you said, as a business, it failed, but what it did do is give you the right tools and the right know-how into actually keep developing, keep working, and now you are building. Now, when you first started this venture with Eruptmedia, it was just you, wasn't it?
It was just kind of me, and more, I think I had that sense of doing this in university made me think, right, I don't want to say I don't want a job, because maybe in the future I probably will. You never know. But it's that sense of, I like the aspect of I can wake up and I have this weird thing of feeling a bit like a magician. I'm working on a laptop and I'm literally making making a living from my home or from an office space, and that I have like team members here, where one of them is based in Liverpool, which is super useful as well. Another's based down south, so we're all UK based, right? It's just cool to feel like, I don't know, and
you can still do work. You can do work on a phone, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And I speak to a few of my friends who are like graduates, and there's pros to it because then they know how much they get, but there's also cons where there's office politics, there's this, there's that. So there's all this that comes into it. So it's a give and take. I kind of like what I'm doing. There's negative towards it because there is a fact of instability, and you do need to take responsibility if things go wrong, which they have gone wrong. So there is that. But then, that's kind of why I kind of like doing this. It's a sense of freedom, if that makes sense, that you can kind of have a bit more control of what you're doing.
Oh yeah, but you answer to yourself. Yes, you do answer to your clients, but ultimately it's up to you, isn't it? So I've had loads of sleepless nights because I've had a bit too much work on. But that's the thing, is like, you wake up early, you get the work done. And if it's going to be a little bit late, just be honest and just say, look, with the schedule, I'm just telling you now, it may just be a little bit late. We're going to do everything we can to keep this on track. But if it just goes over, we'll just want to just tell you and be honest. And I've always found with a couple of clients, they've always just been like, okay, technically there's no rush for stuff, but we just agree to, delivery date or whatever. If it's going to be a few hours late or a few days late, I want it perfect. And that's what we want to do. So yeah, I think just being completely honest with people is the best thing, because you'd be honest with your parents.
Yeah. You work in the sense of, that's what I kind of like, because you work very much, it is more of a project basis, and I've tried to incorporate that recently in the sense of doing these ads troubleshooting. It's more of a project basis where you get paid for a certain amount, you get paid a certain amount, and then the work is that I've tried to do more kind of management of monthly basis. But I also like to hear, because I know that with your service fees and things like that, you do charge much more than I would in terms of what I do. So I just like hearing about your experiences, because then you kind of feel, how's he dealing in terms of with the client relationship? How is he I just find it interesting to hear your perspectives, and also other people, how they do things, and maybe I can incorporate that into how I do things. So
exactly, I was going to say that is the key of why I just want to do this video blog series, is to just get people talking, because I've learned so much from you just from this chat. I know we already know each other from before this, and that's one thing that we didn't say at the beginning of the video, that we're both a part of this incubator run by Santander in the centre of Liverpool. But just from this conversation of just knowing what platforms, and even your thoughts about TikTok, it's not really there for businesses, it's there for influencers and stuff.
It might be, soon, in some respects. Soon. And in all honesty, there's some businesses that are really being creative in it. So I don't want to deter people and say, don't use it, but I would say experiment with it. It is early, but
you need to jump in. And if you don't know any of these platforms, it's so everyone listening, I say everyone, most probably the 3 people listening, literally just jump in. If you don't know how to use Facebook, spend 4 hours learning how to use Facebook. Ask people. Same with Instagram, same with TikTok. You're never going to know whether it's going to be right for you without trying. It's how much ROI can you get with 4 hours? It's that's it, isn't it? You spend 4 hours on TikTok, maybe don't just keep scrolling, watching videos, but see how it works, see how you do DMs. Took me a while to know what the hell a DM is. When people say, oh, DM me, it's what is it? It's I had to actually research. It's direct message. Just learn how to do that, because I've got actually quite a bit of work from Facebook or the different groups of people that are saying, how can I do X, Y, Z using augmented reality or using web AR, web VR? And it's I just message oh, do you want to have a quick chat? Okay, your project is massive. Maybe outsource a bit to us. If it's small, I'll just tell them the answers. Or what I do anyway is you can go research this yourself. Here's all the websites. Here's X, Y, Z. Not that looks too much coding. Cool. Hire us to do coding. We'll do it for you, and we'll do it correctly, and we'll do it in a day instead of doing it over 6 weeks, or let you research it for 6 weeks. Just let us do the hard part, which you don't want to. And I think that's the key thing. Just jump into every platform. It makes sense.
Just trial it out, see kind of different. Obviously, if you want to really hone into someone, I don't want to just say come to me for Facebook and Instagram, but go to different people who probably have a bit more experience and probably have seen what works on those type of platforms. And that's what I would just say. Yes, learn for yourself and see what's working, but also if you don't want to do that, or you're struggling, go to people who work in it and actually see.
Just ask them questions, isn't it?
Give
them a call, ask them a question. Simple.
Yeah, exactly. But then, that's I think the only other thing I wanted to mention was just the COVID-19 and that aspect of just what I've kind of done regarding that is just more diversified what I offer, whereas I used to do much more, maybe 1 or 2 services in terms of just monthly management. But what I've kind of done is done a bit of ads troubleshooting, consultation, because then it allows of businesses that maybe are not as confident to commit to a long-term thing. But then it also, yes, you bring money in, but it also allows them to get a sense of who you are and to trust you. And then funnily enough, it'll probably end up in the actual service anyway, the main
Yeah.
service. So that's one thing I've done, because it has affected me. Maybe not, thankfully, maybe not as much in terms of what others have. And
Yeah.
hopefully that doesn't sound bad,
No,
because
no,
I work
no,
online.
no. Yeah.
But yeah, it still affected me in terms of clients pausing, clients saying we're not
Mhm.
shipping products, so we can't, we don't need you essentially because we can't sell. So that's how I've kind of deviated, and that's the last point I want to make, that even though this is happening, if you are fortunate enough to still be able to do business and to kind of deviate accordingly. If you don't need to deviate, that's awesome, because then you can carry on. But if you do, try and be creative and try and actually help out. If you work with clients, try and actually see it from them,
their point of view.
Their point of view. So
same with literally just pick up the phone and just ask how they're doing. How are you? Do you need us to hold off any payments? Can you pay this month? Because it's just about communication, isn't it? I was like, it's like if your cash flow is fine and theirs isn't, then just give them a couple of weeks. I'm pretty sure it'll work out, because you'll be known as the good company and the people who want to do good, and everyone will just come back to you wherever you're on the phone. Like my friend was getting married, bit of an off topic. And as soon as this lockdown hit, like certain, obviously, I think wedding cakes, or it was the hotel, something. Anyway, as soon as that hit, it was like, right, here's your invoice. We want paying within the next 2 days. And it was like, hang on. It's like, just speak to us. Like, it's quite obvious if we're not getting married, because sadly they didn't get married, but that's the thing. Yeah. The wedding cake wasn't being made. And everyone knew that because the whole country shut down. But then they're not going to make the wedding cake. So they invoice for the whole wedding cake. Like, he just thought that was just, just give us a call, don't invoice for like this dead expensive wedding cake, when this wedding cake is not going to get made because everywhere's locked down for the next couple of weeks, but they still invoiced it. So I think he just went, you know what, like, have your deposit. I don't want to work with you. I don't want to have you make my wedding cake. And it was just like, they could have saved that because his wedding got pushed back a year, but they've just lost. They might have made like, I think it was like £100 on the deposit, but they just lost
much more.
They just lost more, just because they didn't phone up and just say, look, we know how it is, but we're running a business. We need money. Let's come to some kind of
arrangement.
Instead of just going, here's your bill. We want to pay it within the next couple of days. Please do it. There was no kind of, there's no warm up to it. It's like, kind of thing. Exactly. But I think I've just always state, this advert on TV, don't be a Rick. It's like, that's been a motto of the last couple of ones. Obviously it's, don't be a DICK. Don't really want to swear on the program, but that's what I mean. It's like, just don't be one of them. It makes sense to just be a nice person to go through it. Sad, right? So to just kind of close up, if I was to get into, say, like social media marketing,
like digital marketing, social media marketing, things like that. Yeah.
Where would I start? And say, like, what tools would you want to look into? And then what key services would you just take care of on the last couple of questions?
So to get started, I think the best way to say is what I got started with, really. Maybe it might be a bit different because I started in university just trialing projects, but if you're maybe not in university and you can't just try different projects online, I would say initially start off with what kind of service. This is if you're doing freelance, of course. Like if you're being a business person, then you could probably get people initially that does a particular service. But if you're doing a whole freelance thing, then if you're good at copywriting, if you kind of have a sense of, you have to kind of view what you kind of want to go down as well, because I'm come from engineering background, so I was looking more analytical, then I was thinking more about ads, social media. But as the actual place, as a place to start in terms of learning, there's literally Udemy, there's Skillshare, there's these platforms like that literally, if you type Google ads, if you type Facebook ads, if you type even social media marketing, or courses will come up. And really, these courses on Udemy are literally 10 quid, maybe $10 if you're US based, $9.99. There's always reductions. And then on Skillshare, there's a you can find a 2-month free link where you can literally consume different courses for free around all creative mediums, all kind of creative services.
Yeah.
So you don't have to spend a lot of money at all to really just have a good understanding of the different types of services you could do. As a platform to start in terms of bringing in clientele, I would probably say, because it helped me initially, I would say Upwork. The reason I'll say Upwork, there's pros and cons to it. And this is a whole nother video I could probably do, but the reason I'll say it is because people want a service already. They want something already. And it's literally just kind of you showing that you're the right person. And don't get me wrong, there's other people on the platform, but it's a good way to really get your feet wet, get your initial clients, and actually not have the sense, because it's hard to start out if you are, a lot of people say do cold emailing, cold call people, and that's much more tricky because people don't necessarily even want the service you're offering. You might not be that good at sales. So freelance platforms is a good way to get a start, actual learning, Skillshare, Udemy.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say. And I forgot the actual other aspect in terms of the question. So people getting started.
I think it was more like the key services that you do. So we've spoken about a lot, but if I was to say, like, if I was to make cakes and stuff and I wanted, I'm only getting the sales, I'm only selling to a couple of people, right? Gino, what can you do for me? Right.
So this is what if you asked me this about beginning of the year, I probably would have said, well, I probably can't work with you. But now it's a bit different because of the COVID-19. So you'll see on the website of Eruptmedia.co, there's a tagline there where we kind of just say, we help e-commerce businesses basically convert visitors to buyers predictably and at scale. And the way we do that is through Facebook and Instagram advertisement and actually consulting you a bit on your website. That's like the main service that we do. I call it the e-commerce customer engine program. Okay. It's a 90-day program initially. After that, it's month by month. Yeah. But what I would say, if you are kind of starting out, I have added something about a couple of months back, which is like a service tab on the website where if you are already running ads, we can do a complete audit and even do a complete audit of the website and really kind of go into depth. Yeah. And that's a one-time thing, and you can take what we give you and implement it. The other one is, if this is probably more specific to if someone's starting out and they're selling cakes, is I do a sense of an ads consultation, like a page where I'll literally just show you
how it's all
what
done.
We would do.
Okay.
So you can do it. So the main service is very much done for you. So we take it on board, we take everything and we kind of do it. This is done with you. So I don't really do it for you, but I show you how to do it. And that's much more cheaper and it's much more financially viable. Yeah. For people who are starting out. So that's what I would say for someone who is selling cakes, who wants to sell online. I do it for about, sometimes it goes over the hour, but if you are looking for how we would do it, you could even just pay for one session and then take what we give you and implement it. And I've had someone do that last week where starting out a store, they wanted someone who's worked with stores, got results with stores in terms of online. Yeah. And they just paid for that consultation and then they're right. I just gave them a holistic view of what we kind of do. And now they're off to the races. So that's what I'll say. Yeah. So that's awesome. Kind of like what I would offer for someone who's starting out. If you're obviously a bit more established, I'll be very happy to speak to you in terms of taking you from where you are to probably where you want to be in 12 months time, because that is kind of the main thing we do. We help more stores that are a bit more established go to earning probably maybe double what they're currently earning. Yeah. But if you're starting out, happy to actually show you the processes of what we'll do through a consultation.
Amazing, dude. Amazing.
Awesome, man. So that's all good. And really appreciate you having me on, and hopefully I haven't talked too much. And
no, it's been absolutely great. Like loads of great insight and just good emotional bits, which is like, talk about your emotions from all the background and honesty. I think that just that's a key thing that I love, just speaking to people and other startups. Although you've been doing it for years, like I wouldn't say startup, but like you're scaling up now, and it's great just to see you going from strength to strength to strength. Yeah,
middle ground. Not I'm not established into the big business. I'm probably not a startup anymore, but I'm still early. It's been just going on to 2 years. It hasn't even been really 2 years with this. So I've passed the start,
it's been,
but then there's still a lot. Yeah.
Oh, there's always more stuff you can learn, and yeah, it's just great to just see you just coming up the ranks and just getting more clients, building up the staff, and yeah, it's been good, man. Right. So on that note, so thank you very much for coming and chatting. Hopefully everyone at home has just loved everything that you said. And again, if you want to speak to Gino, contact him through eruptmedia.co, and he'll just answer any questions that you've got. Yeah, he's a great guy. Speak to him, and you'll be in safe hands. So, Gino, thank you very much for that, man. Really appreciate it. And we'll call it a day. So take care and enjoy your weekend.
Okay,
so see you in a bit, dude.
What I basically do is work with e-commerce businesses. E-commerce is like online stores. So if someone has, let's make it the cake. So if someone has cakes and they can deliver to someone, so they can do an online store, and I can be someone who basically drives traffic, and more so we want sales. So drive actual sales of these online sales. Yeah. So they can sell them, and then usually I'll go into more depth, but usually now I kind of work with businesses that they have like a product that they know sells well. And I kind of just sell much more, but at a profitable rate. So they're selling much more, but still making a healthy profit. So for instance, I'll tell you this last client where we spent about 5,000 in terms of their ads, and then we brought in 20,000. Now that's quite, for some people that's not a lot, but for him it's a lot because he's a one-man band.
Mate, that's a 75% increase.
Exactly. So
that's
it's
huge.
Like 5 to 20 is, I would say it's a 4. It's something called ROAS. So when you return on the ad spend, so return on the money, basically.
Yeah, is the ROI.
Yeah. So the ROI we got for him last month was 4x of what he put into the machine. So imagine if he's paying me a 1,500 and he's putting 5K, his total investment is 6.5 and bringing in close to 20. It's a no-brainer for him to even, it's basically, that's kind of that's like the ultimate thing. That's what we're striving for, where we work with online businesses where we directly get them sales online.